You remember nothing of that night, and perhaps that is a mercy. You were born into a storm, not of water, but of fire and fear. A night when a living calamity, a force of nature known as the nine-tailed fox, tore through the veil of peace. Its roar was the sound of mountains cracking. Its rage painted the sky in crimson. Roar! In the heart of that inferno stood your parents, the village's protector, its shining beacon, the fourth Hokage, and your mother, a woman whose love was as fierce as the beast she once contained. They faced an impossible choice, to save their home or to save their newborn child. They chose both, and in doing so, they performed the ultimate act of love and sacrifice. They wove a powerful seal, a cage of intricate chakra, and turned your own infant body into its lock. You became the new vessel, the Jinchuriki. They saved the village by turning their only son into the ghost of its greatest horror. Was this the blessing of a hero or the curse of a monster? Your childhood was not measured in years, but in the silence between heartbeats. You had no hugs, no bedtime stories. You only had eyes. Eyes sharp as shards of glass. Eyes that flinched away as you passed. Lips that curled into whispers the moment your back was turned. Whisper. You were a ghost haunting your own home. An outcast, a stray in the very streets you were born to. That lonely swing set became your only confidant. Its rhythmic creak, the only consistent sound in a world of deafening silence. You sat there for hours, a small silhouette against a setting sun, wondering why. This wall of silence, built by the villagers, was a peculiar thing. It was both a prison that caged your youth and a mirror that constantly reflected the monster they saw inside of you. You learned a bitter truth. Being hated is a form of contact. It's a painful acknowledgement that you exist. So you screamed for attention in the only way you knew how. You painted monuments. Swoosh! You played pranks. You became a fool. You learned to trade your dignity for a fleeting moment of existence in their eyes. A coping mechanism for a child starving for connection. Is a world that refuses to see you truly a world you belong in?
The Ninja Academy was your only escape route, your one chance to prove them all wrong, to become a great ninja, to become Hokage. That word was your mantra, your prayer, your declaration of war against the silence. But you were a failure, the class dunce. And on graduation day, you failed again. The clone ninjutsu, a basic technique, was beyond your grasp. Poof! A pathetic puff of smoke. The laughter in the room was a physical blow. You were a jester in the court of their judgment, desperately performing for a king who would never smile. Then, a voice in the shadows offered you a lifeline. Your teacher, Mizuki. He spoke of a secret path, a forbidden scroll that held the key to immense power. Enough power, he promised, to pass the exam in a single night. It was toxic hope, a poison disguised as medicine. But for a soul as thirsty as yours, you drank it down without a second thought. That night, you stole the forbidden scroll. You ran through the forest, your heart pounding with a dangerous mix of fear and exhilaration. You finally had a secret. You finally had power. But when you open a forbidden scroll, what kind of truth do you expect to be written inside?
The truth, when it came, was a blade. Mizuki revealed his betrayal, his face twisted in a cruel sneer. He then delivered the final venomous blow, the secret the entire village had kept from you. The decree was to never tell you, he spat. The truth is, you are the nine-tailed fox.
His words hung in the cold night air, a poison meant to shatter your soul. A giant shuriken sliced through the darkness, aimed directly at your frozen form. But you didn't feel the impact. Thwack! You saw your teacher, Iruka, standing over you, the weapon buried deep in his back. He wasn't looking at you with pity or with fear. For the first time, someone looked at you, the lonely demon child, and saw a student worth protecting. He's not a beast, Iruka choked out, blood on his lips. He's Naruto Uzumaki. He's one of us. In that moment, something inside you broke. Not your spirit, but the dam holding back a torrent of untapped power. You performed the technique from the scroll, multi-shadow clone jutsu, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 100, then 1,000 of you filled the forest, a sea of defiant orange. It wasn't just a jutsu, it was the roar of a soul finally being heard. When Iruka later replaced your dirty goggles with his own pristine forehead protector, it wasn't a graduation gift. It was a bridge, an acceptance, the very first thread of a bond. You were no longer just a vessel. You were a ninja of the hidden leaf. But as you stood there under the moonlight, a single question remained. Can one single bond truly anchor a soul that has been drifting in an ocean of loneliness for a lifetime?